and we are live on Allsop and Allsops. Are we live or not?
Yeah.
You sure we're live, yeah? We are live.
So I'm seeing it's the ticker on here.
We're definitely on there and on there. Welcome to today's episode of Taking Care of Business. This is a special edition. It's a live edition. We'll be taking questions on real estate, football, men's grooming.
So weird, boy. I'm just seeing this on the screen here. It's like a really rubbish version of Big Brother. Just watching ourselves.
What's the room called that you go in a Big Brother where you chat and you admit what you did wrong?
It's the diary room.
Diary room. No one wants to go in the diary room. Nobody. So thank you very much for attending. This is live on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram and Facebook. So we're pretty much everywhere and we'll be taking live questions. We have a list of questions already. So we'll fire off some of them. Do you want to fire some of the questions off?
Yeah, so we've got a good few here. So the first one is from Jess, Lauren Bain, and her question is, what is the best advice for first-time buyers in Dubai?
First-time buyers in Dubai, I think, so I was talking to somebody last week and they were asking me as a first-time buyer, where's best to buy, where's going to have the biggest growth, and they went through all these basic stuff, how they're going to get the best ROI. And I think for a first-time buyer, the first thing they need to do is just work out a way to get on the property ladder, because there's no magic formula to it. What generally happens is time will increase the value of the asset at any level. So I think you've got to look at where you go to school, where you live, what remits you are, and then just see how you can get on the ladder. I mean, that could be post-payment plans with developers.
Look, so we had a guest a couple of weeks ago, Dr. Professor Michael Waters, and he, in his book about Dubai real estate, he analysed that on average it takes people roughly 3.5 years, if you're in a couple, to save your first real estate deposit. So if you're buying in Dubai, naturally you're going to need a deposit of at least 20% plus your fees of another 5%. So first and foremost is have a plan to save. So that might take you from the inception of moving to Dubai, if you don't have savings, up to 3.5 years, maybe 5 or 6 years on a salary of around 25 to 30,000 dirhams per month. What I would say is, for a first time buyer, look at where's right for you. Don't look about, how can I make money? Like Lewis said, it's where do your kids go to school, where do you work? And then ultimately as well, is picking a community that really sits well with you. Is a good park there? Is it well kept? And then make a decision from there.
So basically, I think our advice is to get on the ladder as quickly as you can and worry about it afterwards. So I've got a live question here from Steve Alani. Thanks for the question, Steve. And Chris Galley says, good morning from the UK. I'm sure, what time will it be in England now? 9?
9:05.
Bit of rain in England. Good
Get
morning
your coffee
from
down,
the UK. And good afternoon from Pakistan from Irfan. So good afternoon to you.
Hey, Irfan.
So Steve Alani's question was, what is the interest rate in the UAE? It's almost 6% in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm. So fixed rates, as of a few weeks ago, you could be looking just shy of 5% for a 5-year deal. Again, these things change, but we're expecting another interest rate hike this evening at 10 p.m. Just while we're talking about, I think this may be certainly towards one of the last ones, and I think what you might find is positive commentary attached to it. The reason they're doing 4.99 at the moment, or close to that figure, is the banks are hedging that the rates will come down at some point later this year. So, I think if I'm talking to someone about buying a property, do you jump into a fixed mortgage? Not sure, because they're probably going to come down anyway.
I think with mortgages, and this is for obviously those listening, is that obviously 6% is high compared to when they were pretty much giving money away a few years ago. I think it was like 0.25% was the base rate plus the bank's profit on top.
What I will say is I bought my first house at 18, so what was that, 23 years ago. My interest rate was about 7.25%. So money's still quite cheap in comparison.
Yeah, I think my message to everybody is that even if you're paying a high interest rate, as long as you can afford the repayments, you're still better off than renting, aren't you? Because the analogy I can give anybody that's trying to get their head around property, if you have a mortgage repayment, 50%, approximately 50 to 60% will go to paying the interest, and 50% will go back to paying back the loan. But if you think about the loan really, you borrowing off somebody and paying it back. You're effectively paying back yourself rather than paying a landlord. So interest rates, do not worry about them. They're going to go up and down. The most important thing is the affordability at the time. Can you afford to make the repayments?
Yeah, I agree.
Next question.
So next question we've got is, what have you done differently compared to other firms which has allowed you to succeed? I would love to answer that one.
Go ahead.
You can jump onto this. Honestly speaking, so nearly 15 years we've been open this September. The biggest thing we've done is always focus on ourselves. Lewis will vouch for me on this. I never, ever, ever look at, mention, or even suggest into the real estate companies. Not because I'm not aware of our competition, because there's some really good firms out there, but always focus on yourself, recognise your own weaknesses, and don't look outside these four walls. I think in this industry, in this world we're in right now, we're voyeurs. People love watching what other people are doing. So the biggest thing is we're a process-driven business. You know, there's a lot of companies set up and they think sell, do as much as you can. But yes, selling is a big part of real estate. But what we've done from the very start is put foundations in place. And as a business, we've been consistent.
Yeah.
And we've been trustworthy. We've stood the test of time. So if anyone deals with us, they know that they're dealing with a company that's reputable and they know what they're doing.
I think there's that analogy in there about the horses, where the horses are running, they put their blinkers on them, so they're not looking left or right, and they run as fast as they can. I mean, it's very easy. I mean, one of the things that I've done over the last few years is anyone who has a negative influence on my social media, I delete them. And generally, that revolves around other companies and people in real estate, because I'm a competitive person. If I see somebody's done a transaction, it gets to me. So for me, my best advice I give everybody, yes, definitely, cut out all the noise and no one's ever been a millionaire overnight. I think this is what a lot of people want in business. And we realised that, where we are today, it took us 6 years to start really making any money in the business, didn't it? It was a slog at the start.
And anyone else setting up a company, doesn't matter what industry you're in, the reality is the first 4, 5, 6 years, you're probably not going to make any money yourself. And if you are making money, then you're probably not reinvesting in your business. And what we've done for the first half of our business is every single penny that we've generated from this business has gone back into whether it's increasing staffing, increasing office space, making sure we've got best tech. And if you're not doing that, then you're not doing something right.
No, you've got to. I mean, I remember when I quit my job, someone said, "What's the difference between us and somebody else?" I quit probably the best paid job outside of owning this company now at the time to take a risk and pay myself. I think it was $5,000 a month, which was enough to cover the rent, and that went on for a year. And I think them sacrifices you got to go through. And I think opening in 2008 also is a help. Starting in a recession, effectively, the worst.
It's also a hindrance as well, because I can tell you at least 30 companies off the top of my head that were very established at the time that have been around and gone in our 15 years. Are very big names. So it's not just a fact of timing. We've obviously done some right, and we're still here.
I think the interesting dynamic in the real estate market, and there's a lot of companies in the last 3 or 4 years that have opened up, and I'm going to be interested to see, because I see it, they're fly by night, they'll come in, and I wonder if they'll be open when the market turns.
And look, the reality is we're in a cycle.
Yeah.
Real estate always operates in cycles, where it could be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. We are in a cycle, upward cycle. There will be a downward cycle. It might not be a dramatic one, but like you say, these companies, can they deal with that? I'm not sure.
Okay, so over to the next question. A couple of shout outs here for you. Lee Gunn in the UK. We have, who did I just see a minute ago? Chris Gailey. I'm going to answer Chris's message. 2 messages on AI. So this message said, with AI on the news over the last 48 hours here in the UK, what effects do you think, if any, AI will have on the property markets, positive and negative? So I'll start by answering this. So me and Kyle were talking off camera. Chris Gailey is also within real estate. So basically, let's just answer this question, and obviously it's a real estate question specific, but we're going to go back a little bit further than that. So when AI was initially launched, my thing was, okay, it might stop journalists from working, and then it's gone into being able to build out videos for animation to talk over the top. But me and Kyle were talking off camera today to see how far AI can go, and there was a news release out yesterday in America where what they've done is let's say the US and UK, the historical law, so they'll look at cases that have happened 10 years ago for what happened in that scenario. Anyway, AI now is able to get 10 years, 15 years of laws and let's say whatever's happened in the courts, and able to do historical scrape on them and create a case for the court to show that this historically has happened. That blows my mind.
It's a great question, by the way. And what I say about AI is I'm listening and watching a lot at the moment, because it's very clear, unlike the metaverse, this is going to have a massive impact on everyone's life. I don't think that anyone really understands what impact it will have. And Lewis just mentioned about lawyers. So the biggest thing for me right now is anyone that's a knowledge worker that's having to do any form of analytical work or preparation, whether it's reporters, there will be some impacted people, 100% sure. Relating to real estate, I'm yet to see truly the impact that will have. It could be anything down to imagery, it could be down to identifying, people are most likely to buy. It could be also down to identifying perfect investments. But I think certainly in the next 6 months, we'll start seeing a clearer picture of what AI is capable of, and certainly in the next couple of years, what it can do.
I think there's going to be a lot of people, I'm not going to say put out of work, because people talked before about robots putting people out of work. Like if you worked in a factory and they said they're making cars, I think that I know it sounds mad, but at some point planes are going to be able to fly themselves. It's probably close to that anyway. And you already get recommendations for what music to listen to. I was listening to yesterday to have a what's it called? Not a podcast. What do you call it when your favourite music playlist?
Yeah.
It's called Allsop Sexy House Vibes.
Nice, nice.
And on there, I was like, these are not my songs, and they're all like vocal deep house.
Yeah.
They're able to pull out your favourite tunes from knowing what you're listening to. And anything you pick, even Deliveroo, they say you like K-Cow, have you tried this? I think the more technology that comes in, there's going to be so many people that are going to have to adjust what they were doing before to what the world is today.
Good question here. What percentage of Dubai agents do you retain after 1 year? I just had this pulled for me just before we jumped on here. 71% in 2022, which is obviously, for me, is a really good number. The reality is real estate for everyone is not for everyone. It's a very, very difficult job. Some people like the comfort of a salary, and that is absolutely fine. Some people don't like the relentlessness of the industry because there is so much competition now. If you sleep at the weekends in terms of not answering your phone or being quick to the matter, the reality is you could lose a deal. So this job truly is relentless, and again, it isn't for everyone. But that number, 71%, I'm happy with, and it shows that we're doing something right in terms of nurturing people, making sure we're giving them time, and also getting their phones ringing.
In a business, I mean, you have to make sure you're supporting the staff, and how in real estate you support businesses, you give them marketing. So let's say Allsop and Allsop over a boutique company. Why would someone survive or thrive in this business? Basically, we registered 700 buyers last week, 700 buyers,
Yeah.
and 750 tenants a week, plus hundreds of properties that go live. The opportunity to speak to customers is there. The problem that we find in recruitment, and the 20% or so that don't make it, basically you interview these people and they'll say, I'm going to smash it, I'm coming here to change my life. And unfortunately, there's a variation in recruitment. It could be that you miss your family, you've got a drinking problem, you're not actually hard worker. And there could be many factors that come into consideration that if you're not on the game here, there are a lot of people that are willing to take your client out.
Exactly. Best off-plan area to invest in under 3 million, and why?
Best off-plan under 3 million?
There's probably not a lot these days of prices rising, but where do you think? I still think, even though the price have jumped up massively, I still think Till Our Gaff, honestly. Yeah. The townhouse is there. I think they launched at 1.3, selling at 2.4, 2.5. Still think it's a great buy.
I think Till Our Gaff for me as well, just because the water, the amenities, is owned by Majid Al Futtaim, which affected out the contracts to more of the Emirates, which means you could see things like cinemas and other restaurants in there. I've got an amazing question here from Amir Raphael. Has your strawberry milkshakes you're drinking been a major contribution towards your success? I'd like to clear this up. Big shout out to Joe and the Juice. We're actually looking to get hold of you to become a partner in our offices and serve Joe and the Juice in the office. This is ginger, apple and strawberry. So Joe and the Juice, if you are listening, give us a call.
Very, very good. Flipping properties, best area and why? I think anyone that's buying real estate should never have the mindset of flipping. There will be opportunities to flip, and there is right now lots of opportunities to flip. When you enter a deal or buy something, always take a long-term view. Can you fulfill a payment plan? Can you fulfill the transaction? That's what you should be doing in terms of looking at a long-term view, but ultimately there are opportunities to make money on flipping now, today.
One of the best opportunities at the moment for me is Jumeirah Islands. Jumeirah Islands has villas you can buy for 10 or 11 million. If you completely gut them apart and you renovate them again, they can turn into 20 million dirham villas. And the thing is with renovation over here, and it is being done, I've got a couple of friends that do it, basically you don't pay any capital gains. So it is a business with a business. For me, you know, if anyone wants to know my investment techniques, I don't actually flip. I buy and keep, and I've always done the only time I'll ever sell is not buying something bigger. I need to release the cash flow to do it. But I'm a big believer in the long term. You win. I mean, if you flip a property and you make £10,000, it's not going to change your life. But if you do that for 10 years and that goes up in value and you get the rent off it, it compounds.
I think it's just too risky going into the mindset of flipping. Ivana has sent quite a lot of questions. I'm going to pick one of them out, Ivana. I'm not going to answer all of them. How do you know you're investing in quality real estate when you're buying off plan? I think it all starts with a developer. So you ensure you pick a developer that's got a track record, delivers on time, known for quality, known for upkeep of community, and then work your way back in regards to what's the project like. So is there any differentiators in the development? What else does it do? For example, you know, that Upper House project a few months back in JLT, you see that's aimed at creators at the podcast studio there. You can see they've got electric car charging there, so they're differentiating themselves by the project. And you look at the Royal Atlantis, I mean, you know, that you can't compare it to anything. So I think developer, uniqueness of project, and then obviously for me, payment plan, how does that all work out?
I just think quality is like my number one thing. It's a cornerstone for any type of buy, whether it's a car, a house, an investment. It doesn't matter what it is. I look at who's building it, what it has, what it represents, and who's going to be living there. I think too many people try and pick the cheapest option. Even when they're buying a house, the mad thing is with people is they go, oh, I'm not going to buy that one because it's 100,000 dirhams cheaper. And I'm like, do you like it as much? No. And I say to these people, like, imagine sitting on the sofa going, oh yeah, I've got a right good deal on this. I know it's got a shit view now, but like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you have to buy what you believe in, and quality products will always trump everything else.
I agree. Seeing billboards with 1% down on Sheikh Zayed Road, is it Deja Vu of 2008? Difference between 2008 is more people have more liquidity, so more people having to put more money into a project. These developments have got 1% down. They're probably a smaller developer, so they're probably having to be attractive on pricing to compete with the bigger ones. I don't have concerns about us 2008 being repeated, because I think there's a lot more things in place now than there was then in terms of regulation, in terms of liquidity. And ultimately, the amount of people coming into country, that doesn't concern me.
I think, just again, anyone that's got the Deja Vu situation of 2000, absolutely categorically not. I remember when I was 20 years old, I was buying floors for 24 million dirhams and putting 2% down and hoping to flip them. And developers would do 90% on completion. Today's markets, look at the new launches, developers are collecting 70, 80%. And also the difference here, people that bought properties 3 or 4 years ago, how much liquidity have they got in it now? Yeah. There is so much asset value within their cap properties that they've bought over the last few years. Dubai specifically is just in such a healthy place.
Okay, so Daria Vakaria has said, I want to start my career as a real estate agent. I'm a fresher. Do you guys hire freshers and train them?
What is a fresher?
New or new?
No, doesn't a fresher mean in America? Like, can someone write this in the chat if they know what it means?
Showing our age here, by the way.
I'm sure in America it means I've just finished university. Is that what it is? Yeah. So aliens, is anyone that's in uni, give me a shout out on here.
I will say to you, freshers, that is our specialty. Taking someone from the very start, no experience, nurturing them and getting them up to year one where they've established a good footing in real estate, ready to kick on. That is our specialty. So if you're looking to get into real estate, honestly, there's no better place. Come and see us and go through the interview process, and then
anyone that's even thinking about into real estate. I mean, one of the lads in here, Ewan Craigie, he worked for us for about 5 years. He's gone on to be one of the most successful property entrepreneurs who's left our business, and he's having a great time watching his investments going on. Our job here is to get you up and running, and all we need from you, in which Ewan brought when he came here, give us a work rate, give us a commitment to succeed, and we're happy to be a stepping stone to someone's future in the business, aren't we?
I'm just drawn to the Coventry City question. Coventry City, be where they belong next season. I'm going to put it out there. We're going up. If we get through to the playoffs, I'm feeling on a one-off game, no one will beat us on that day. No one.
Why are you jinxing us?
Luton worry me though. They're the only thing to worry about. I honestly believe if we get into the playoffs, which we should, I'm confident.
Just on you and Craigie. Obviously, just a great shout out. Thank you very much. But his sport is Norwich, and they didn't make the playoffs, so they're not in a good place at the moment. Okay, so we're going to take 2 more questions about real estate and investing. If you've got any more that you want to throw out.
Someone's asked about the Wrexham effect. Will we see Allsops returning to Sky Blues? We were 5 years as sponsors. Proud to say we were there for the Checker Trade, League 2 playoff, and then I think we were there for the League 1 winners. So 5 years, we've had our time. There's a great new owners in, and we've had our time. So yeah, we won't be going back.
Okay, so last question I've got here is: do you see the market continuing to go up compared to the rest of the world, which seems to be struggling? I'll answer that for you specifically. Thank you for letting me answer this. Dubai is in a wildly unique place, and the reason it's in a unique place is if you go back to lockdown, if anyone remembers living in the UK or being in the UK, and when the rest of the world was shut down, they were saying, come visit Dubai. Do you remember this? And then obviously everyone started to fly to Dubai, and then it kicked off. And what you found from then until today, Dubai are doing everything in their power to capitalise when the rest of the world has problems. So they create retirement visas, they've got investor visas, they have ability for technology to come and work here. They create 100% business ownership is completely new. All these things that go on and on about. And with the rest of the world currently, whether it's Russia and Ukraine, whether it's the UK currently with the situation they're in, the safety, the US, what's going on there at the moment, everywhere in the world there is something going on. And Dubai, with its tax-free, is the safest place in the world to live. It's been voted holiday destination of the year to go to. All this capitulates that people are coming here to stay and live now, not just for holiday. And I think the biggest problem Dubai faces is undersupply. There's too many people coming here, and we can't build houses quick enough, which is putting pressure on rentals and sales.
It's undersupply, it's adapting the road networks, it's trying to adapt to the big surge of people. It's people I'm speaking to back in the UK that I've never thought in a million years to uproot their family and move to this country, but they're seeing not just like the money and the lifestyle, it's like how safe this place is, being in a warm climate all year round. These things really matter to people. Looking at previous property reports so far this year, we are probably on track for 8, 9, 10% growth as a whole. That is really healthy.
Yeah, I agree.
And sustainable.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. You will see on our next one, hopefully Coventry being in the Premier League. Based
on the Sky Blues, come on.
Shout out, and the property market continues to go up according to our crystal ball.
Cheers guys. Thank you.